They have paintings made for cheap, have them appraised for lots of money and tada. What conspiracy theory do you fully believe is true? Netflix marketing team releases memes about shows to give off the appearance that everyone is watching said show. Since people have FOMO, they watch the shows to understand the memes until everyone eventually does watch it. I swear Disney does this as well. There is always some meme campaign happening before a major Marvel drop. For many years people were considered crazy for saying the government is spying on everything you do online. Then the leaks started, as well as stating I think my phone is tracking me. Now it's just supposed to be an accepted normal behavior, to be tracked and spied on. To be fair, what are you going to do in this day and age? It's so easy to track anybody and everybody. Obviously the government's doing some sort of snooping. Yeah, but we all allow it to some extent. All you gotta do is click I agree to the terms and conditions when you sign up for pretty much any kind of account online and they've got you. They're not even really hiding it either, when somewhere in that long mess of legal jargon is usually something along the lines of, any of these terms and conditions can change at any moment with no notice to you. You/sympathetic villain commented on a similar post years ago and I saved his comment because I thought it made a lot of sense. See below for the comment. American public education is purposely declining to promote consumerism and make a more subservient population. For example, public schools used to teach home economics, wood shop or auto shop. By cutting the budget for these programs, you're going to end up with adults who don't know how to cook. So they spend all their money at restaurants. So they spend all their money on clothes, have an understanding of how tools work and make small repairs. So they spend all their money on handymen or repairmen, or take care of their cars. So they spend all their money at car dealerships or auto shops, also getting ripped off because they are completely dependent on what the mechanic says instead of having their own pool of knowledge to draw from. Then you get to homework. We are teaching children and young adults it's okay to work all day at school, then do additional work at home. With so many companies changing to a salaried position, it's perpetuating that it's expected to do some work at home and to not get paid for it. After all, you did it your whole life with homework, so why should the workforce be any different? Edit. It was brought to my attention that having the ability to sew in order to make small repairs and alterations to clothing, reattaching a button, darning a sock, closing a tear, etc., is more of a money saver than actually making your own clothes from scratch. Thank you for pointing this out, you/Safalafo. That all of those souvenir shops on prominent shopping streets in London, England are money laundering fronts. You know, the ones with a massive floor space selling key rings and knockoff hoodies that say TikTok or something yet have no customers except young male staff sat about on their phones. How on earth would a not very busy shop survive in Europe's most expensive retail space other than that? Also factoring in a global pandemic and a massive reduction in international tourists, who they're presumably aimed at, yet they show no signs of shutting down. They also all appear to be owned by the same person and stock the same merchandise. TLDR, Oxford Street souvenir shops are all money laundering premises. A few years ago a huge amount of soap shops started appearing in my city, fancy boutiques which sold luxury bars of soap. The staff were mainly people who didn't speak the language, and they hardly sold any products. A few months later some crime syndicate got busted and poof, all soap shops were gone. Edit. Clarified that it was in my city, not London. In the US, it's flower shops. You even find them in the poorest neighborhoods. That the art market is actually a huge money laundering scheme. I don't remember where I read this, but it said that kingpins and criminals will often buy paintings and sculptures for millions of dollars in order to make dirty money transactions legal. They have paintings made for cheap, have them appraised for lots of money and tada. Kinda like the invisible sculpture that sold in France or Italy or something for 15 to 20. This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's absolutely true and makes so much sense if you think about the high-end art world. It's an exclusive club of only rich people and the type of people that would need to launder money. The high-end art world is almost completely made of the super rich. That there are people rich enough to disappear. There must be some billionaires we've never heard of. There are absolutely billionaires who made their money illegitimately, so we've never heard of them. El Chapo was a billionaire, even though we have heard of him. Also, Vladimir Putin's worth like 70 billion, but I would imagine he's actually worth way more. Germany has one sort of like that. The richest man in the whole country, Dieter Schwarz, who owns Lidl, basically never makes any kind of public appearance. He's known for being very private. If I remember correctly, he's worth something like 50 billion euros. Frankly, if I were a billionaire, I wouldn't want everyone knowing about it. I think the trend where you show a picture of yourself now versus 10 years ago was promoted, if not invented, by Facebook-owned social media companies in order to train artificial intelligence to be able to recognize and analyze how faces age. Just like solving CAPTCHAs about crosswalks is helping train self-driving AI. I always click extra/miss essential pictures to prevent AL's takeover. One day the methodical machines killing us in mass slaughter will stop for Yorkie Terrier because I said it was a stop sign and the CAPTCHA accepted. That The Killer Clowns of 2016 was originally a promotion for it, but it got out of hand. Edit. For those of you who don't know what I mean, I'm talking about the movie It, with the clown that lives in the sewers. The very first clown who appeared during that time was in relation to the filming of this movie, Gags the Clown. The director said that he wanted to be able to utilize real news footage and people's real reactions for the film. But it totally got out of hand, and maybe some movie executives from it were excited about prolonging the creepy clown narrative. But all of this really did happen because of a movie. It was actually a promotional stunt for an indie found footage flick called Gags the Clown. Hence why the first report of a killer clown originated in Green Bay, where this movie was being filmed. It was really strange how suddenly there were killer clowns literally everywhere, and then the next day they were just gone. I had never thought about it before, to be honest, but what you're saying makes sense. As soon as the videos of clowns getting guns drawn on them started coming out, the clowns disappeared. Suspicious. That Disney was confident that Clinton would win the 2016 election, so they had already completed the animatronic for the Hall of Presidents. But then Trump won, so they sloppily altered the Clinton animatronic to look sort of like him. Be the judge for yourself. My therapist. The Clinton-Trump chimera android doesn't exist. Me looking at the dark corner of my room. That does look like Hillary Clinton wearing a Trump skin suit. It rubs the lotion on its skin. It does this whenever it's told. The measuring lines on your detergent container are way more than you actually need, so you use it faster and buy more detergent. If your towels smell musty after you wash and dry them, it is because of all the excess soap that didn't rinse out. I have a smaller washer, 1.6 cubic feet top loader, and put my detergent in travel bottles. I just squirt some soap in the bottom before throwing my clothes in. 130Z bottle lasts me 4 or so full washes and the clothes come out clean. I've been using the same 64 load bottle for almost 8 months and it's still 1/3 full. Leaving the machine lid/door open helps dramatically with avoiding a musty smell too. Obviously be careful if there are kids/pets around though. We had our washer machine fixed a few years back and the repairman told us pretty much this as a tip. Part of our machine's issue was a lot of excess stuff, hair/soap, that would get caught and clog up the drain areas, especially behind the rubber seals. The hair we understood how to clear out now that we knew about it, and we asked about how to prevent soap from over-collecting and forming. He told us that the lines are pretty much always more than you actually need. Just put a little in and you're good. I don't know if he was right, but I accept it as fact in my head now. The government had a hand in creating and/or popularizing some of the more outlandish conspiracy theories in order to make questioning the official story seem inherently crazy by association. People really seem to trust US government intelligence agencies not to do shady shit when it's inconvenient to believe it. People look at you like you're crazy to suggest that intelligence agencies may have agent provocateurs that incite violence in peaceful protests to spur antagonism and produce discord in the populace. There is a long history of various intelligence agencies doing just that here and abroad. We made movies and books and shows about it. But say it's still happening. Inconceivable. Thank you. Everyone will point to the last 100 years and list off how the US government or FBI or CIA or whatever were monsters and lied, cheated, stole, murdered. But none of that today, you wacko conspiracy nut. Toothpaste companies show more toothpaste than necessary on toothbrushes on TV commercials to make you think you need more of it in each brush, thus taking away your money faster. Same thing with Alka-Seltzer. The Plop Plop Fizz Fizz campaign almost doubled sales when the instructions still say to only use one tablet. I have a box of it that I bought a few months ago. The packets come with 2 tablets, and the instructions tell you to fully dissolve 2 tablets. Not discrediting that you don't actually need to, I don't actually know, but if they said differently at some point, it's been changed to 2 tablets. Lather, rinse, repeat. Big companies use Reddit and other social media to normalize shady behavior. It seems every time news breaks about a company doing something shady, the top comments on Reddit are always along the lines of, "Well duh. We've known this for years." So instead of outrage, the news are met with apathy, and there's a feeling that you can't change the system anyway. Facebook does this. Whenever Facebook spying is mentioned in VR and Oculus threads, there will suddenly be a bunch of upvoted people saying that we should not worry about it and it's all normal. And why are we being such weird paranoid conspiracy nuts? There's definitely something fishy with certain big subreddits when it comes to certain news stories. I remember a few years back when all of the Edward Snowden leaks were coming out and story after story on subs like r/World News would get real popular after being posted for about an hour, then would just get removed for no real good reason at all. This actually caused the first big migration to vote, before Reddit started banning hate subs and all those shitty people flooded vote, which I also kinda believe was done on purpose by Reddit in order to destroy vote before it could really take off. Pretty sure that a while ago it actually came out that a lot of traffic in certain subs could be traced to one military base in the US. It was figured out by stats that Reddit Incorporated released accidentally. This is probably also why the style of moderation on a lot of subreddits has become so much more iron-fisted than it used to be. A few years ago, a locked thread anywhere was a big deal if it happened for any reason. Now most of the time these moderators don't even bother giving a reason at all. It's just another day for them. That's because a huge portion of them are outsiders that were never a part of Reddit culture in the first place. Well duh. Not exactly news. They've been doing this for years. Thanks for watching. The like target for this video is 50 likes. If you liked us, don't forget to subscribe to indietts and share it with your friends. I will see you in the next video.